All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to paint their door a vibrant shade of blue. Others have the need to decorate their bathroom with fish, anchors, and other nautical items. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.
The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is All Things Elite. Welcome back to All Things Elite. Load up the pod, man, it's on when we speak. Rich right here, let me warm it up for Austin and Floyd. Couldn't be no one but the boys. When it come to All Things Elite from the fan perspective, swear, man, it ain't no question. Hear from them first. Swear, man, they putting in the work. No, they had to get me for the verse. Social Suplex Network's on. Hours at a time in your headphones. Austin and Floyd on the microphone. Backing out on the ring, getting in the zone. Pulling up the show, give it 7 stars, you already know. Who else could it be but the show with the proclivity for positivity? I'm gone.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 268th episode of Social Suplex's podcast about AEW with a proclivity for positivity. Welcome to All Things Elite. My name is Austin Sumwitz, and I am the host of this lovely show. Joining with me, as always, is my good buddy and friend, Mr. Floyd Johnson Jr. My man, how are you doing?
I am doing well. We just, got through watching another great episode of Dynamite. I feel like wrestling is really good right now, and we're at this situation. Where it's like, when I see you hating on things like the size of a ring, I know it's doing well. and I told my friend Rich Lotta this, that simply put, and I was like, and I posted it on Twitter, if they're at the point where the only thing they have to complain about on the show is that the ring was too small, which I'm going to be 100% honest, hand on my heart, hand to my personal deity, I didn't notice. I have ADHD. I don't have the best attention to detail in the first place. I was 30 minutes into the show before I realized Riccaboni was doing it tonight. So I don't pay attention to like everything. I am not that kind of guy. So I admit it, that is a fault. But I did not know when they were talking about the ring size, I had no idea what the fuck they were talking about. I literally had to go look up at a picture and page. And I listened to a guy, and he was just like, there's no way you didn't know this. I'm like, there is absolutely a way I didn't know this, guy. I didn't know this. When people were talking about ring size, I literally thought they were talking about how big a ring you have to get engaged. Because literally all I saw was ring size. So I thought they were arguing about how much money you should spend on the engagement ring. And then I found out it was fucking wrestling ring. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? And then like I said, it hit me in the head. I was like, okay, AEW is on the right track right now because that's all they got.
Yeah, I mean, like, I will say firmly, like, I did notice, I was like, the ring looks a little weird. Like, I don't know if I was like, maybe it's because there's so much extra space in between the barricade and the ring itself. I was like, oh no, it's actually maybe a little smaller than usual. And I was just like, okay. And then I looked on Twitter and I saw people melting down about it. And I was just like,
it was 3 days later, they were still talking about it.
I was like, hang on. Okay, hang on. Now, Floyd, I think you'll say this show is the proclivity for positivity, as we say every single week. You would probably agree to this point that I specifically have been a little bit more critical over the last year of AEW. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Like, well more so than you, I would say, probably. I think we're both on the level together, but I think me a little bit more than you has been a little bit more critical of AEW. y'all, when I tell you that this company has plenty of criticisms that you can levy against them that are legitimate, the size of a fucking ring is not one of them. And like Floyd said, if that's what you're going to, then all of your arguments are crap if that's the best one that you can go to. So, brother, let me tell you, these guys are professionals. They have wrestled in dog shit rings before because people train to be in these big companies, and they've worked in garbage rings and garbage venues all their lives. I can tell you right now, that ring doesn't even come into the top 30 worst rings they've worked in before in their careers. So kindly fucking leave. Like, seriously.
So when Joey...
Because I can tell you right now, dude, didn't affect the matches and the quality of the matches from Grand Slam. That was a fucking great show.
When Joey Janela is the voice of reason.
Yeah, you've lost the plot.
You've lost the plot. He's like, it costs $40,000 to ship a ring. Why would they pay that?
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, that should be the end of the conversation right there. And then I saw some people that I respect taking the side if they should have shipped the ring. And I'm just like, I still respect your opinion. I just disagree.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was fine. And, maybe next year, and maybe if they're doing an Australia week where they do like a Dynamite Collision and a pay-per-view or something in Australia. Hey, you're doing 3 shows. They all sell out. Maybe ship the ring there. Maybe if it was in the arena with 40,000 people, right? And you're making like a $15 million gate or something stupid like that. Okay, ship the ring, right? They already had to downsize from a stadium to arena because of, interest or whatever. That's fine. That happened, right? So the numbers probably aren't what they think they are. And so, hey, let's cut costs. Let's run our company like a business. I'm shocked by this, that they want to run their company by business and cut costs. But hey, maybe next time they bring the ring, maybe they don't. My point is, to me, is that this was all much ado about nothing.
Yeah. There was another point that had a lot to do about nothing. I'm saving it for when we actually get to the review of the show. But listen, man, AEW is doing some good business right now, and I think the fact that you're seeing the internet say stuff like that shows, to, like Floyd said, it's like they must be doing a good amount of stuff right if this is the very little bullshit that we have to see in our feeds that people are complaining about.
4 weeks ago, it was Death Riders and other bookings, and why champions weren't the...
Hell, I'm still saying it's Death Riders, personally.
It's Death Riders. It's like, oh, my people aren't getting booked, all that kind of stuff. Gradually, over the last 4 weeks, they have pivoted to get their show hot again, and the show is hot. Now, I want to make clear that this could have been always the plan. I feel like there was a pivot. I think most people that watch the show feel like there was a pivot.
But there was 1,000%.
Yeah, but they pivoted from different arguments to this, and that's the case. And I feel like all the pivots have hit. But I was very clear on my Death Riders thing. I don't like it. I'm fine. But they have done enough to make it a lot of small bites instead of 20-minute segments or whatever segments where you have no idea what Mox is talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So they're actually doing action. They're attacking groups. They're running in. They're taking over the show. This is what I thought we were originally going to get from the Death Riders. And now we're getting it now. So, like I said, I find it more tolerable than it was. I still don't like it. But whatever.
Right. Regardless, we got a lot to talk about.
Lots to talk about.
We're recording this right after Dynamite just went off the air. We got a lot to talk about with Grand Slam, so huge news to get to as well. So getting into the entire show, before we get into everything, please continue to support this show. If you enjoy it, download us on YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, turn automatic downloads on, wherever you choose to listen to us on. Share us around with your friends, family, coworkers, whoever you wish. Rate, review, subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. And support us by following us on social media. At AT Elite Pod is where we are on Twitter, and you can find us on Blue Sky with that same thing. At Social Suplex is the guys that make this show possible, and you guys should show them some love and give a listen to all their other shows that you will most definitely enjoy. I am at Austin Sumowicz, SZUMOWICZ, and Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. Big news of the week was announced today before Dynamite, and they officially also shared the news today on Dynamite since they were in Phoenix as well. Double or Nothing, for the first time, is moving out of Vegas. It is moving from Vegas. Second time. Sorry, yeah, because of pandemic. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I always forget. Trust me, dude. That time period to me feels so long ago. Like I always blank out about pandemic era wrestling and how everything was like gate locked to their area. So second time ever, but first time since the pandemic. It's moving from Vegas. Double or Nothing is going to be in Glendale, Arizona.
Yes. Okay. So first thoughts. I'm fine with it. They did do it at I put the arena on here. They're not on here, but it's called the Dirty Something Arena. Let's see. It's a casino. I saw that and I was just So the reason I bring that up is because
Desert Diamond Arena.
Desert Diamond. So most people were like, it has to be in a casino, and I'm just like, why? You can put literally chips and slots up in any arena in the country. It doesn't have to be at a casino. It was at a casino, and that's great. But it doesn't have to be at a casino. You can decorate any arena or stadium or whatever to look like Double or Nothing. I don't understand the whole idea that it had to be a casino. Did you?
I mean, I get it just because of the titling, but like All In is a Vegas term, you know, but that was in Chicago. So
and then in that case, the Elimination Chamber should always be on Alcatraz Island in San Francisco. I'm just like, what the fuck? What are we doing? I'm like, what are we doing? It's like,
I don't know, man.
I think it's a solid place. Phoenix is a nice hub for certain airlines, so it's easy to get in and out. Shit, I looked up at American. They had like 6 flights that are not direct coming from Phoenix to Oklahoma City. So I think it's a great spot to have it. The arena looks really nice. Apparently, it's like a luxury music building. My friend that lives in Phoenix, who I'm actually thinking of staying with if I go, he was like, he's always wanted to go there because it's apparently like fairly new and really nice. So apparently it's going to be a good place. It's going to be easy to get to. Let me tell you the main things. It's going to be cheaper. Mm-hmm. The tickets are going to be cheaper because of no entertainment tax. The hotels are going to be cheaper because of no vacation tax. Gas in a car, it's much more spread out. You know, I'm like, honestly, as a person who's been to Vegas like 8 times since 2019, I'm kind of tired of Vegas.
Yeah.
I was like heartbroken.
Well, and people were complaining about the crowds for Vegas back in like 2023.
Yes.
So, like there was active like we're tired of the Vegas crowd because they're not doing enough and they're not showing enough like that. Like I remember when we were in the building for 2023's Double or Nothing. That I mean, granted that show wasn't all that great, but I mean like crowd was also dead for a lot of the big stuff.
Yes. There's this thing called optics, if y'all didn't know what optics are. So AEW in a building, the city that has basically been their city. They're Vegas. They run the shows in that city, right? So the month after WrestleMania, it's probably going to sell at least 60,000 tickets each night, right?
Real, yeah.
And then they're going to probably sell out SmackDown and Raw, right?
Yep.
So they're going to pull...
And NXT, too.
Yeah, and NXT. So they're going to move 145,000 tickets, right? Something like that. And then you come in the week in that city and struggle to make it to 10K. Optically, how does that look?
It doesn't look good.
I'm staying fucking far away from Vegas.
Yeah, it's like they got Vegas this year. We're not going to Vegas.
We'll see you next year in Vegas.
Yeah.
But it's just like, oh, we did 140,000 seats. You did 12,000. Even if you sell out, let's just say you go to T-Mobile and sell out and do 18,000 seats. Still, it still looks terrible. So no, to punt. You punt this year. It's like, hey, we'll see you next year kind of thing. And I don't think anything's wrong with it. Also, if they announce making it for New Orleans next year, also in running a big show in New Orleans a month before, a month after they do a show there. I'm just saying, it's just logical. I don't even understand. Like I said, I understand the tradition. I understand that he said it's always going to be in Vegas, but he also said that before the pandemic.
Yes. It
can't always be in Vegas because there's already been 2 years where it wasn't in Vegas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So like I said, it's one of those things, much ado about nothing. I'm excited. I'm thinking about going. I have a con that weekend, Oklahoma City Galaxy Con. So if I can't go, that's going to be the reason I can't go.
I have 2 weddings during Memorial Day weekend, so not going to happen.
Yeah, but at the worst, I'll just be watching it from home and we'll record a show later. But it's just like, I don't know. If you can go, great. I doubt they listen to the show, but shout out to Andy and Amy Nemedy, my peoples. They are from the Phoenix area, and they get to go to the show. And like I said, my friend lives 30 minutes away, so I like it being in new places. Mm-hmm. I do want them to go back to Vegas next year. 100% want them to go back to Vegas next year. I like All Out in Chicago. Selfish reasons. It's just easy for me to get to Chicago. Selfish.
Yeah.
It's an easy flight. You and Sid can usually come. Most of my people that go to shows with me are already like in that area. Tyler can come visit me. So selfishly, I want All Out to stay in Chicago. But the fact that you got to let companies grow. I'm not going to go long into this, but you have to be willing to let companies grow. And by growth, they have to do what's best for business that year. The ideal is to have it in Vegas every year. But when WrestleMania shits on your fucking idea, you have to pivot.
That's pretty much it. I mean, like, again, it's not going to look good when AEW goes to Vegas and does not sell as many tickets as WWE does. Now, you could say, but it's WrestleMania versus Double or Nothing. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how you set it up. It does not look good. So I'm excited for it to be in Arizona. Like I said, I will not be there because I got a lot of shit going on Memorial Day weekend this year. But I am excited for everybody who is looking to get tickets for that show. That the show, they did announce that tickets will go on sale. I think, was it general admission is on February 24th, or is that
So VIP you can already buy. Yes. February 21st is the pre-sale. So those codes will be out. I will do my best to post it on the All Things Elite page if I'm awake. Sometimes they don't put the code out until like the minute it goes on sale. So by the time I see it, it's too late to put it out.
Right.
But and then general is February 24th. And if you are in the position to travel to go there, go there. It's not Vegas. Don't get me wrong. It's not Vegas. But nowhere is. Vegas is only Vegas. So if you get there and you're like, oh, this is as good as Vegas, no shit.
For real though.
It's like, I'm hoping GCW or whatever the companies are come in to do shows. Hopefully they can get a Collision recorded on that Saturday or whatever and do what they do, and you still have a good time, but it's not Vegas. It's not. And I'm hoping I hope they get a fan fest, because Double or Nothing I don't think we've done a Double or Nothing without a fan fest.
I don't think so, yeah. So I don't think that's the case, yeah.
So I hope they do a fan fest and all that kind of stuff. Me, like I said, I will be here at a con. Sting's actually at my con, which is hilarious. I'll be at a con here, so I won't be able to go down early. But if it was in Vegas, I wasn't going at all. So Phoenix at least opened up myself to the idea of going.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully you're able to make it work out.
Yeah, because Memorial Day weekend, it's just so expensive to travel in and out of Vegas.
Oh, for sure.
Get a hotel in Vegas. Everything in Vegas is so much more expensive than everywhere else.
Yeah, but it's just not feasible. It just isn't.
All right. Well,
let's go ahead and let's get into this week in AEW. We'll start off with Grand Slam Australia. First of all, like we mentioned, obviously the arena was not the same as what was originally advertised. They did move to a smaller venue after they did not sell enough tickets for the football stadium that they had originally planned. That being said, I didn't see an empty seat in the house for the one that they were in. They were coming from the Brisbane Entertainment Centre in Brisbane, Australia, and that place looked from floor to ceiling full, which is honestly, like I said, they overreached a little bit, but, you know, if they aimed here the entire time, no one would be questioning anything, though, because they did a good amount of business here. Even though the crowd, I know, definitely wanted a pay-per-view. I heard there was a little bit of booze for TK because they were expecting a pay-per-view level show, and what they got basically was a collision, but just called Grand Slam Australia. A good one, really, really good one, but they were expecting a pay-per-view, so they were a little bit butthurt. But, you know, it was eventually announced that they were going to be coming back to Australia next year, so
and then I
think they're all right.
Then they gave them the ROH Global Wars. Shout out!
Yeah, they gave them Global Wars, yeah.
Shout out to Sir Sam Brown from the Social Suplex, AEW match guy. He was actually live at the show. That was his first AEW show. Make sure you download the most recent episode of AEW Match Guide for Sir Sam. He talks about his live experience there. And he's literally the only one at Social Suplex that can give a live experience take of that show. Yeah. So we definitely, there's also a good review for One Nation Radio. And of course you're going to get, you know, all things Elite's thoughts right now. But I just wanted to make sure you're checking out the other shows on Social Suplex.
Absolutely.
I'm not as good as remembering that, but it was fresh on my mind because I had listened to Sam a couple nights ago, and it was a unique experience because you get to experience it. You get to experience through somebody's eyes that doesn't take it for granted, and unfortunately, I do get in those moments where I do take it for granted because it is so accessible for me. Right. So hearing it from a first-timer, it was such an amazing experience. I loved listening and seeing it basically through his eyes. So make sure you listen to it.
Yeah, show that episode some love. The show opened up with the tag team match between the aerial assassin Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, the Best Bout Machine, going up against Don Callis family members, Konosuke Takeshita, the international champion, and the protostar Kyle Fletcher. Now, what I kind of teased a little bit, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this, we obviously opened the show with how stupid people are being with their baseless critiques of AEW and how they've resorted to complaining about the size of the ring. There was another instance of that a little bit from a show that I do enjoy on some occasions, but yeah, Mr. Dave LaGreca of Busted Open, who Floyd even made the joke right now, is basically at this point bought and paid for, which, yeah. It's funny to see because he flipped his lid, like, talking about Grand Slam. And I was like, because I just heard that he was screaming, basically, because whenever LaGreca screams, it goes everywhere, and I don't know what it is, man. I know I get high-pitched and kind of screamy sometimes when I talk about shit that bothers me and stuff like that. But whenever LaGreca screams, it's like nails on a chalkboard to me. It's the weird... I don't know, man. I don't hate the guy, but, like, holy shit, man. When he gets screamy, it's like... Dude. I'm just like, calm the fuck down.
And I want to throw this out there about LaGreca before I absolutely bury him. He's one of the most pleasant... He's one of the most pleasant people I've ever met as far as in the wrestling world. Met him and I was like, hey, how you doing? Who's your, talking to me about wrestling. Met his wife, all amazing people. He seemed, that's great. But that dude is so co-opted, he can't even see the line anymore.
Yeah. And that you said before we recorded, basically, once you show up on the pre-show for a premium live event,
I don't want to hear your thoughts about AEW anymore.
It's like you can just stop talking about him.
Yeah, you can stop talking about him. Your thoughts are invalid at this point.
There you go.
You have been paid for by the competition to give thoughts. And now all of a sudden, this company that I remember you used to love, now you hate everything they do. I'm shocked.
Yeah. So he was screaming up a storm and was like getting to this level. It's like, I've defended AEW for so many years. I can't take it anymore. They don't know what they're doing over there. And I'm like, man, what's got brother so worked up? It's the fact that they booked Kyle Fletcher as a heel in his home country. And he's like, They were cheering him when he walked out, but he's booked as a heel. You stupid idiots. And I'm just like, okay, first of all, were you screaming nonstop for about 25 minutes to the point where you failed to realize that, yes, they cheered him when he came out and he was announced from being from Australia. But by the time the bell rang and they were going up against, remember, the biggest stars in the company, Will Ospreay and Kenny fucking Omega, who I will let you know when he made his entrance, that man was God in Australia. The pop he got was huge. The instant Kyle Fletcher locked up with Ospreay and Omega and was wrestling them, boos. I heard so many boos when he went up against them.
No,
so I assume LaGreca was just screaming nonstop for 25 minutes straight. And again, I will go back to what I said about people complaining about the size of the ring. You have legitimate criticisms you can make towards this company. I have made them on this show. You can go back and listen to them. And you want to make honest to God criticisms, that's fine. But people that are honestly criticizing the company have to be now paired in with you dumbasses that are screaming about this bullshit that doesn't matter.
Yes, his overlords won't let him do those rants about them anymore, so he has to pick something. Otherwise, his show, no one wants to listen to it unless he's ranting about something. So
yeah, that's the thing. People listen to Dreamer. People listen to Bully Ray. I don't really know why they still listen to Bully Ray, but they do. And then people listen to Nick Nemeth. And then the only time they listen to LaGreca is when he's got the screams going on, like he does in the cutouts that people bring to shows. Because that's what he has, is screaming like a banshee.
He is still three steps ahead of JD from New York, who is the most useless piece of. I feel like
you acknowledged him. I feel
like shit is like disrespectful to shit. I don't know what he is. He is the stuff you find under shit. He is ground up shit. He's manure. I mean, no. I like his existence in the wrestling world irks me. Like the friendliest person in the world, his existence irks me. So I have had him muted and stuff, but occasionally you'll get the thing where somebody replies and it says they're replying to something you muted, and I need to know what they're replying to understand their post. So I click on the button and fuck. And it's my fault. I shouldn't click on the button. I have the person muted for a reason. Right. But curiosity gets my cat every time.
But again, though, it's like you're complaining about the fact that Fletcher got cheered for the length of his entrance because he's in his home country, but then he proceeded to get booed because he's a good heel and he knows how to do this shit. Because
did he just turn the channel after that?
No, like I said, I think he was too busy screaming for 25 minutes straight because he must have not heard everything that the crowd was doing during that match, because they were booing Fletcher. They were booing Takeshita because, again, Ospreay and Omega got the reactions of like the second coming of Christ.
Completely brilliant match.
Oh, great match!
But
we're moving now to the positives and moving to the match itself. Like, great match. You can share your thoughts first, Floyd.
But it's a TV match, right? Mm-hmm. At this moment, while I was watching the match, and after I watched the match, we got the result. It was a beautiful match. I was like, God, I wish this was a pay-per-view, because it would have went 15 minutes longer, and it would have just been much more epic. And it would be like, oh, this is the greatest tag team match I ever seen in my life, right? But right now, it was just a really solid, great. It was a great TV match, right? Yeah. It's a great TV match, but it's in the idea of TV match. Kenny Omega looked like fucking Kenny Omega. Will Ospreay looked like Will Ospreay. Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita. I'm like, when you talk about great wrestlers, right? And I'm not trying to gas anyone up, but Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay, as far as in-ring performances, are very much in the conversation. They might be the conversation of the best wrestlers of this generation in ring performances. Maybe you can throw Bryan Danielson in there, that kind of thing. But that next generation, because wrestling generations really work well. It's not like 25 years. It's like 10 to 15 years in a wrestling generation. You're talking about the next two. Takeshita and Fletcher are right there. They're going to be in that conversation. Takeshita has a 10 out of 10 look. Kyle Fletcher has the most punchable face in wrestling. I think he's going to have a great face run. When he lets that blonde hair grow out again and he's looking all pretty like he is and then still doing the shit that he does, I think he can be just as big as Kenny Omega. And I truly believe that about Takeshita too. He is a future New Japan World Champion. I think he's the future ace of New Japan. I hope he gets to still be in AEW because that guy is a fucking star. This match was like, oh my God, 4 of the best wrestlers doing what they do. It was amazing. God, it was so good. It was just so good. I was so jealous of everybody in that building. I've been in some great stuff, and I will still manage to feel jealous about what was going on in that building.
Yeah, no, I thought this match was so much fun. You can just feel the intensity of this match and just the strikes, especially from Kanosuke. I felt like he was really laying the hammer down when it came to those elbow strikes and stuff. The part that I thought was the most entertaining was when Takeshita was looking to hit a double German suplex. Omega he had first, and then he had Omega grabbed Ospreay from behind. Ospreay holding onto the corner, trying to keep himself in, and then you see Kyle Fletcher pop up and go, and then just smack his hands to remove him from the turnbuckle, and that's what led to the double German suplex. Just fucking entertaining stuff. I thought that was great. Don Callis got involved a little early, stopping Ospreay and Omega from getting an early victory, which gave a second chance for Kyle Fletcher to be able to just get back into this match. There was a Poison Rana that looked really, really rough. Like, that was the only negative I had of the match is like Omega tried to hit a Poison Rana on Takeshita, and I thought he fucked up his neck. I hope he was all right. He seemed okay. But yeah, it was the only real tough spot from the match itself. I loved when they were trying to do their moves together, but then Fletcher and Takeshita reversed it into double stereo tombstone pile drivers, and Takeshita even like had his packaged up. But yeah, just really, really good stuff. And the way they set up for Ospreay to hidden blade Takeshita into the one-winged angel was such a great finish, such a really good moment. Like Floyd said, it was very much a very good TV match, not a pay-per-view caliber match, but it was a very, very, very good TV match and a great way to open the show. And this also opening the show gave me the confirmation in my head immediately, like, oh, they're main eventing with the women's championship match. Like, if this was opening the show, I'm like, they're main eventing with the women's championship match.
Yes, yes. So the way that this works, the way that these type of shows work, when they start late, it's the old Saturday Night Main Event rule. They actually put the main event on first.
Right, with Collision. I know that's how they've always kind of done it.
Yeah, so they get the most eyes. But the big moment of the night, the reason to stay watching the show was for the Toni Storm, Mariah May match. So, yes, they were very much the main event of the show, which I thought the show was so good. I thought this match was good, and I honestly thought every match was good.
Yeah, no, it was very, very entertaining. A great way to open up the show. Ospreay and Omega getting the win was very, very awesome. And like I said, dude, they were in love. I also love the point, too, I will forget to mention, too, when Ospreay was basically trying to do all of Kenny's big stuff with him. Like, he did the Terminator dive, and then he kind of, when Kenny's, like, basically, dazed and confused, he does the bang and then pushes him to go hit a V-trigger on Takeshita. Yeah. That was amazing. I thought that and the double German were my two favorite spots in the entire match.
There are two people in professional wrestling that always look like they're having the time of their life no matter what the match is. Mm-hmm. Will Ospreay, that dude could be bleeding profusely from his face, and he looks like he's having the time of his life, right?
Oh, yeah.
And the other one is another match we're going to talk about later, and I'll give her flowers when it's time.
Yeah, 1,000%. We moved immediately into the TBS Championship match between Mercedes Moné and my girl, Harley Cameron.
And that is the person I want to give my flowers to.
Yes.
She looks like she just fucking enjoys what she's doing.
Dude, and I mean, this was her best match.
She's intense when she needs to be. She's physical when she needs to be. She's in the right spots. Literally, if you told me how many matches she has, right? And I am not an overly critical eye. I can't say that she looks like she's only had like 50 matches or whatever.
Well, no, and I think that what I'll compare her to with in terms of like people that had little experience of doing this. I mean, like, let's not forget like the level of criticism that Jade Cargill had when she was in AEW of like how new and green she was at first, and then she went on her run as TBS champion. There were still people saying that she wasn't like to that level yet. Even though she was doing some really, really good stuff. Harley, I feel like, has just the same level of like, you know, entertainment factor that like she walks into a room and like all eyes are on her. But then at the same time, like all the things she can do, how multifaceted she is. And like I said, too, motherfucker, she's right. She's a quick learner at this shit. I loved the work that she did here. Having her pull out Puppet Monet was amazing, or Mini Monet, however you want to call her. I thought that was so good having that involved. And she had a second one, too, that had angry eyes that she pulled up when she kind of reached up over the apron to stare into the ring, which is immediately a gifable moment, which I thought was great. Mercedes got, I think, the best heel reactions because, I mean, dude, they hated her. Like, this was about as pure babyface versus heel champion. This is classic professional wrestling with like unstoppable heel champion versus lovable, amazingly talented home state, home country, hometown hero. Like that's as classic as it gets. And like the crowd was with it the entire way. When she kicked out of when she kicked out of the Meteora, like the crowd popped so hard. And eventually she was able to get a really good kick on her. It looked like she almost had it. She was getting Feel the Wrath chance, and then eventually she tries to jump off the top rope, but Mercedes moves, gets the Monet Maker, gets the pinfall victory. Crowd's so pissed. And then afterwards, Mercedes set up her match that she would have with Momo Watanabe at Revolution, which was announced on Dynamite literally tonight. Who obviously Momo Watanabe won the Wrestle Dynasty tournament between all the companies to get a future title shot. So 1,000% Harley Cameron's best match in AEW. Mercedes, I think, like, if you're hating on Mercedes now, then you're just kind of feeding into everything that she wants. I think she's doing amazing stuff. This is what we were expecting with Mercedes Moné coming to AEW, and I'm glad that we've got this version of her because she's just a beast. And I love Harley, and I hope to God that we continue to see her grow and shine, do stuff. Like, she's been on AEW TV basically week after week after week doing banger stuff after banger stuff. Obviously, I said in the predictions, now wasn't the time. I love her to death. Now wasn't the time. I want to stress this to TK. Keep the ball rolling with her, though. Make sure she's doing stuff. Make sure she's constantly in entertaining segments, and entertaining feuds. Because, I mean, dude, when I tell you she is a star, she is a fucking star. And I will repeat what I said in that preview show. By the end of this year, you will see Harley Cameron will be a world champion. No doubt in my mind will she be a champion in AEW. Shouts out to Harley Cameron. Love her to death. And so proud of her. Really, really good match. Nice follow-up to the tag match.
Yeah, I only like tiny critiques. I thought this match was everything it was supposed to be. Tiny critiques. I over the next few weeks to a month, have Harley establish a finisher.
I would agree.
Because the false finishes didn't false finish the way you wanted it to false finish.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it was never that moment like, oh, she got her. she has her. It was like the roll-ups and that kind of stuff. So I'm like, if she had somewhat of a developed finisher and then hits it, then it's like, oh my God. And then when Mercedes kicked out, you would have felt that heart drop out of the... Yeah. They're, like I said, tiny critique. I personally, with it being a women's title match, I personally would have not liked the puppet to be involved. I think
I understand the level of seriousness, but I will say too, like, I like the fact that it was bothering her. Like,
Yes,
it was mind games, and like because that's the thing that I've enjoyed about the build up to this match was that she was always treating Harley like a joke, but the thing that she couldn't ignore was the fact that the jokes were bothering her, and like how she was like making fun of Mercedes was bothering her. So I like that aspect of the fact that it was legit. Like, it wasn't just like, this stupid motherfucker. Like, she was actually furious.
I would like to say this. This is what I was going to finish with. It was executed as well as it could be executed in the moment. I thought it was done. It didn't take me out of the match. Like I said, that's why I said small critiques. It is not like, oh, this ruined the match for me.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah, the match was brilliant. But personally, I would have liked the puppet to not be in the match. I liked it before the match. I liked it around the match. I thought it was hilarious. But in the match, whatever. But I do understand how she was using it as a distraction. She needed it as a distraction because she's admittedly not as good as Mercedes Moné. So that's another thing going into the match. I thought that was, like I said, well executed. I thought this match showed you two things, and I don't think there's any better. This, to me, it came out the perfect result. Mercedes Moné is better than everybody else, right? And that's what everybody came out. It was like, man, she had this great match with Harley, so she's getting all the flowers for the match being great. Harley is further along than people want to accept.
Correct.
I'm like, at this point in time, with her comedic timing and her expressions and all that stuff, she doesn't really need to be that much of a better wrestler. Like, because some people are like, hey, some people are Kenny Omega, some people are Will Ospreay, right? Some people are, I try to see, because I don't want to say a name because it feels like I'll be insulting someone by saying they're less skilled but still entertaining. Let me use Toru Yano, or I'll use him as an example. Doesn't need to be, the excellent catch-can wrestler, because he tells the story. He tells more of a story with his physical interactions, doing moves and stuff like that. So I don't think she needs to be much better. But you will have to work around her weaknesses, which I think they did a really good job in this match.
1,000%. I think, and that's more credit to Mercedes too, of like she made Mercedes Harley look the best that she has. Her whole time in AEW.
I would never put Harley in there with someone inexperienced ever.
No,
because they got to drive the match. But yeah, I can see her starting a little feud with Serena Deeb. She needs to do lower level feuds, win some matches, and I think the ultimate goal. And like I said, I'm not predicting. I'm not saying predicting. It's like, this is what I think should happen. The ultimate goal should be her winning the TBS or the world, well, I'd say TBS title in Australia next year. Basically, whoever the champion is, that's who she beats.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, too, I think before the year is done, I think she'll be a champion. And now, whichever one it is, depends on what the cards show. But I still think, like, dude, the Rocket was put under her, like, in the last few months. And I think that if TK knows what he's doing, he's going to continue to show the level of respect that I think that Harley deserves, because I think she's going to get there. I'm telling you, she's going to be undeniable at some point.
Absolutely. And like I said, there is something to be said, especially in the women's division. Toni Storm took it to the level, but you had a lot of times, you had a lot of good women's wrestlers in the company, but not a lot of personality. And I feel like Toni Storm and Mariah May have brought out that personality.
Correct.
Harley Cameron is a different type of character. Mercedes Moné is her thing. And I just think you are getting more of a variety of type of women's wrestlers in AEW.
No,
right
absolutely.
Now.
Absolutely. So we then moved on. There was a quick little backstage segment with Ospreay and Omega where they set up two matches. Omega called out Takeshita for a singles match at Revolution, and Ospreay called out Kyle Fletcher for a steel cage match at Revolution, which was awesome to see. Both those matches, I think, are going to be so fucking good.
So let me tell you about these matches. So they say Kenny Omega versus Takeshita, and I'm like, what? And then he's like, oh, I'm going to do Kyle Fletcher versus Ospreay in a steel cage. And I tell you, I can send you the receipt. 17 minutes later, I had messaged JR that we're going to LA, and I had bought my plane ticket.
Yep.
17 minutes to the minute later.
Yeah.
Plane ticket, hotel, rental car, JR's on the bus.
You were gone.
It was gone. And like last year at Revolution, right? I wasn't going, and then he's like, oh, they announced it was going to be Sting's retirement match, and I was like, okay, I'm fucking going. So they have a tendency to do this, and it's just like, I was like, the way I posted it to my friend, I have a wrestling erection right now. A raging hard wrestling erection. And if you add what they added since then, oh my God, I was like, I am so happy I'm going to this show. This is one of those shows, if I was in the 300s, I would be okay. I just want to be there. Kyle, I am scared for Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay. Because both those men will absolutely do anything in the ring. You add a cage to it. I don't know how that's going to turn out.
Yeah.
So let's fucking go. Omega and Takeshita have put on some of the best matches I've seen. Now it's for a world title. Now it's on a pay-per-view. No commercial breaks. Just set your scale at 5 and then just go up from there.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That's pretty much where we're at. So
pretty much where we're at. We move into the Brisbane brawl between the Death Riders and Cope and Jay White. First of all, obviously, it's the thing that's made the rounds the most in regards to this entire event. I feel like more so. Brisbane, Australia. Shouts out to you. When Copeland made his entrance and he's standing in the middle of the ring and the music fades out, they sang the entire chorus of Metalingus. Copeland has just got this look in his eyes, and like he said before, like this was probably going to be his last time wrestling in Australia with his career winding down. And oh my God, man, like that's something you can't replicate. It's just like.
No. He needs to do his Australian retirement match next year. He absolutely needs to be there for that. I don't know if he is or whatever, but he needs to be there for that. It was such a cool moment. It was the moment of the show. I'm talking 1,000%. About there was a lot of wrestling moves and a lot of stuff that was amazing, and I thought it was a great wrestling show, but that was the moment of the show. Correct. Them doing that, it was just got me all in my feels. And
Copeland was just fired up after the fact.
Yeah, I was going to say, it kind of felt like he was going to cry, but this match did, it ended and did the thing I hate.
Yeah, I will say firmly in this match, a lot of entertaining stuff in this match. I thought them fighting all over the place. Copeland obviously jumping off of the concourse onto Claudio.
I'm glad his leg didn't break. Shout out, Cole.
Thank God. Shout out. I was a little bit terrified, but he made it through this time. Kendo stick was getting used, and Jay White basically broke that thing into 2 pieces when he was swinging people. A great power bomb through a table from Claudio to Copeland. Mox was getting some good stuff in there too, and got blood all over him thanks to a barbed wire chair used from Copeland. He tried to go for a concerto. That did not work out because of goddamn motherfucking Wheeler Yuta who got involved in the match. There was a great moment too where I loved where Copeland staggered John Moxley and then staggered Claudio and then proceeded to spear him through the table and then hit another spear on Moxley. But basically after the steel chair and barbed wire was taken by Yuta, that allowed Marina Shafir to come in, hit the steel briefcase over Cope's head, bulldog choke. Copeland tried to fight out of it, but eventually the match stopped because he was passed out. He was trying to break his neck, and he kept locking it back on afterwards. And match ended due to a stoppage because Cope passed out, and then they continued to just beat him up after the match was done.
Okay. Great match. Otherwise, except that they did the thing I hate. Jay White with FTR in the ring, with Cope in the ring, with all four of them in the ring, challenges the team that always cheats to a street fight. Now, and I'm talking, this is straight in the wrestling world. I am in the wrestling world. I'm not thinking about them in real life. This is storyline-wise. Why the fuck didn't you bring FTR with you?
Right, and also, why would you decide to play into the type of match that the Death Rider wants?
Yes, and then not bring your guys with you.
And then not have backup, yeah.
Yes, and I want to say this. I know there are real-life things that could come up, the reasons FTR could make the trip. That's fine, right? But why, in this wrestling world thing, isn't that addressed? Isn't that FTR was supposed to be on the flight, but their flight got tore up, and you say Mox is like, oh, your boys aren't going to make it. You know what I mean? Mox throws that out there. Mox is so powerful, he canceled FTR and Willow's flight, right? So you're stuck out there on your own. You can use that to make Mox even more heel. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm thinking inside of what you already have planned here. The announcer could have just said something about it and just like, oh, because otherwise, and I don't know if I'm just a wrestling nerd that thinks too hard, they look really stupid.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, that's the thing too. It's like, you know, like if I'm like, for example, like I never want to try to wrestle John Moxley, but if I was wrestling John Moxley and I was wrestling against his group, you know what I would do straight up for a match against John Moxley? I would do a 30-minute Iron Man match. Yes. Is what I would do against him, and then I would also make it so that way any disqualifications that happen counts as a fall in that Iron Man match, which would allow me to be able to rack up falls if they just tried to get, if I lost by a disqualification, if I won a fall because of that, so that way I could take the title. So that's the way you set up. You set it up in a match that they do not want to be in. You put them in a street fight. Oh, motherfucker, that's their dream. Like, yes. You should take them out to dinner first.
Yeah, it was literally 5-on-2, and it was just like, this again, I grew up on the NWO. I don't mind the bad guys winning and the show ending with the bad guys winning or whatever. Right. I don't care about that. What I care about is when the baby faces, like in Switchblade, how he is booked in New Japan and he's booked in all his career, is he's like a master strategist. He's always a step ahead of them. And now of his opponents, and now you're making them a step behind. Uh-huh. And I know it's supposed to be building sympathy for Adam Copeland, and it might be. I mean, if you go based on the reaction that he got tonight, yes, they are doing a good job building sympathy for him. But good Lord, as a guy that has watched a lot of wrestling in his life, man, I just wish like FTR had somebody else come out, maybe another set of people come out. Maybe there was a chance to use Private Party or whatever you wanted to do, but just don't just like them come in woefully outgunned with no explanation for why they're outgunned.
No, yeah, I mean, that's basically it, honestly.
And yes, I've seen an action movie. No, this is not an action movie.
No.
Yes, John McClane fighting all the terrorists and Die Hard is cool. I don't want to see it in wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Hey, man, that's pretty much it at this point. So we will move on next to the Continental Championship match between the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada, and Buddy Matthews of the Hounds of Hell. Hounds of Hell, yep. Yeah. This was good. This is a good match. I thought they did some really good stuff. Both guys got to show out. Buddy got a good reaction when he came out. That being said, though, the Australia wrestlers, they were struggling tonight. None of them were able to get a win up until this point. And Buddy was, once again, another situation like that. He was not able to beat Kazuchika Okada. I thought they did a really good job of showing up what they could do. And he was shown as giving Okada a lot more of a problem. He was trying to, and Okada at one point even tried to just take the title and leave. And I was just like, yeah, okay, sure about that. But regardless, I thought both guys wrestled really well. This, though, just felt like an in-between match leading into the main event, which it very much was. But they still did a really good job. I didn't really remember too much off of it, but I thought it was a good match.
The big moment I remember is when he hit his, I forgot what they're calling it now, the Matthew something, that Turner move that he did. And I thought it was really cool. And I was like, oh, 1, 2, and he kicked out, and I was like, oh my God, that was a great false finish. But yeah, I thought the match was good. It was cool to see worldwide wrestler Demi Bennett was in the, or I guess maybe it's whatever his last name is now.
Right.
But she was in the first row rooting on her husband. You can look it up if you don't know who that is. But I'm pretty sure most of the nerds listening to the show know who I'm talking about.
Pretty much. That's pretty much it. But yeah, no. We move in now, though, to the main event. The AEW Women's World Championship match between the Glamour Mariah May and Timeless Toni Storm. Boy, when you talk about big match field, this was fucking big match field. Like, this felt big. Mariah coming out, just getting an absolutely amazing heel reaction. Luther is in the crowd as an usher, signaling for the start of Toni's entrance. Her original theme plays before it started to wash away and be like, and replaced by a brand new, updated, and fully orchestrated, like, professional sounding without the filters of, like, the old school sound audio. A new Timeless theme, like, just and she came out and looked like a star. They stare off at each other in the middle of the ring, and as the introductions are happening, like, they're just staring death in each other's eyes. The Australian crowd is going nuts, chanting all day for Toni Storm. Toni was just suplexing Mariah throughout the match multiple times, and they counted. It was 6 straight German suplexes that she hit. The Mayday on the floor used by Mariah was vicious. There was a great moment where Mariah was just hit the running hip attack, and then Toni hit the Mayday. They trade off each other's moves, which was great. Mariah was able to kick out of the Storm Zero, which was a great moment. And then eventually she hit another Mayday, but Mariah still was not able to put away Toni. The pair of them did not work, but eventually a great running powerbomb was able to set up a Storm Zero. And then the moment Mariah rolled out of the ring, too, crowd reaction was amazing on that moment. I loved how well they were like, like they thought they had him right there. It was great. Eventually, Mariah gets back into the ring. She hits another Storm Zero on Toni, but eventually, out of nowhere, she kicks out of that and then is able to set up a small package roll-up and cradle her, and Mariah gets pinned. Toni Storm gets the win, and Timeless Toni Storm is the brand new AEW Women's World Champion and is now the first ever 4-time AEW Women's World Champion.
So, let me tell you about the brilliance of AEW in this storyline. I don't know how long Toni Storm's been back. I think it was like at World's End or before World's End. I don't remember.
Uh-huh.
Was it before World's End or at World's End? I don't remember.
I think it was at.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
And this is to the fucking people out there that says AEW doesn't tell stories. They have literally been telling you for 6 weeks how Toni Storm was going to win this match. Every match since she has come back, how has she won the match?
Rolled her up.
Rolled her up. AEW told you this.
Wow. What's up? I just bought and financed a car through Carvana in minutes.
You? The person who agonized 4 weeks over whether to paint your walls eggshell or off-white bought and financed a car in minutes?
They made it easy. Transparent terms, customizable down and monthly. Didn't even have to do any paperwork.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Hey, have you checked out that spreadsheet I sent you for our dinner options?
Finance your car with Carvana and experience total control. Financing subject to credit approval.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to leave up holiday decorations year-round. Others have the need to use their garage as practice space for their new metal band. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.
Story. Because they were like, and then they got Toni Storm, she's playing this stupid character, and she's winning with rookie roll-ups. Yep. Because guess what? And this might be my own little headcanon, but tell me if it makes sense. Walk with me for a minute. Walk with Floyd for just a second. This woman had taken this woman under her bosom. Mariah May then used that time to learn everything she could about Toni Storm, make her vulnerable so she could beat her in the match. Toni Storm had effectively taught Mariah everything she knew, right?
Yeah.
So Mariah was ready for whatever Toni Storm would bring. So what did she go out and do? She learned a new skill. She took this character that she used to play and she went back to the basics and found this thing that Mariah May couldn't prepare for.
Yeah.
And that was the roll-up. And that is the story. She told you for 6 weeks. Why is Toni just barely beating these people? Why is she rolling up everybody? Because she knew Mariah May was ready for everything else. There's no ready way to prepare yourself for a roll-up.
No chance.
1, 2, 3. She wins. Fuck everybody that says AEW can't tell a story. The story was right there all along. You just didn't see it. Even me, I wasn't patient enough to do it. I am not just jumping on you. I did it too. Well, this is stupid. Why is she playing old Toni Storm but doesn't remember anything and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that was me. You can go back and listen to the show. I was bitching about it. And guess what? They said, fuck you. Guess what? We know what we're doing. And guess what? I'm eating crow right now because they knew what the fuck they were doing. Mm-hmm. I should have enjoyed the ride. I was so busy reacting to everything that was happening in the moment, I didn't enjoy the fucking ride.
There you go.
The ride was there. They were telling you the story. You just had to pay attention. And that's how the story ended. Brilliantly done. Masterpiece. I've heard RJ City's the one that does this. Whoever came up with that idea. Fucking amazing. Yeah. I'm ready for chapter 3 of this because this has to go like cage match, lights out, some violent match eventually down the road. I hope they wait on it. I hope Toni Storm can go have some matches with some other people. We can bring other people in the title picture, and then they come back to Mariah later this year.
Right.
But Mariah May won at home. Toni Storm won at home. This has to finish in Arlington, Texas at All In. This is where it got to finish.
It's got to.
It's got to finish there. 3 matches in a year. Boom. End it. There you go. We'll see. I don't know. But because you know what? You know why I don't know? Because I be trying to jump to conclusions, and then what they do is better than what I thought. So I'm just going to shut the fuck up and let them cook.
There you go. That's basically it, man. That's basically it. That was AEW Grand Slam Australia. Rousing success, I would say. Really, really good job. Obviously, I think the only thing that people bothered was obviously Australia kind of thought it was going to be a pay-per-view, and it was delayed because they had to wait for the dunk contest to be over. But listen, man, you can't rush Mac McClung. That dude he's a crazy-ass white boy. But really, really good show. Some really great moments in that. And I mean, it was just a really, really strong performance from AEW overseas.
And I want to say Matt McClung has an unfair advantage.
Yeah.
Because the other players that are in the league, they're practicing every day, playing all those games. Matt McClung is like a bench player in the D-League. You know what he's practicing? Yeah. His dunks.
Dunk contest.
He's practicing in the dunk contest. You ain't going to ever hang with him until no one in the league can hang with him until they take it as seriously as he does. Because from every part that he does, it is taken seriously. Every dunk is supposed to be a 50 in his eyes. And that's what I saw. I know this is not a basketball podcast. Not at all. I honestly hadn't watched the dunk contest in, 4 years? So don't get me wrong. I'm not pretending to be a basketball expert. But in the little time I watched, you could just tell he took it more seriously than everybody else.
Yeah. Honestly, it was like the whole thing is not even really worth all that much. Watch the goddamn Four Nations tournament for the Four Nations face-off for the NHL. We got Canada versus the United States in the championship on Thursday. Watch that shit.
Well, I'm just saying, if you could just find 5 guys in the whole of the NBA that will take it as serious as Matt McClung, that dunk contest would be back.
Oh, sure.
It was just like that dude, even the dude, he just had the second place dude, I can't even remember his name, had no charisma. It didn't look like any pass. His dunks were actually pretty cool, but he didn't put the show on like Mac did, so whatever. I know y'all are not here to talk about basketball. Let's move on.
We will move on. Going over now to AEW Dynamite, which took place, like I said, in Phoenix, Arizona. So we get into the show, and it opens up with a promo segment with MJF and Hangman Adam Page. Security surrounding the ring. They can't get physical. They are trying to make sure these two don't get physical and they don't lay hands on each other. MJF brings up Double or Nothing and how the first match was a casino battle royal and he had it won, but he got cheap-shotted by Hangman, where he had to crawl his way back up to the top by beating some of the best names in this industry. Any of your favorite wrestlers, I've beaten them. And who did I beat first to win this Dynamite Diamond ring, which I've won 6 times? Oh, yeah, you. And he talks about how much he's better than Hangman, to which Hangman immediately goes why are you talking to me like I don't know who you are? He rusts off his history-making career, but he's like, you sound angry about all these accomplishments. You can't be happy, and it's because is there something you still haven't been able to win from there and from them? And then MJF shouts, shut your mouth immediately, screams he doesn't care about the fans. These hypocrites should not determine who's morally redeemable and who's not, because one day they decided to wake up and say, you're the main character. You're the good guy? Because they'll chant cowboy shit at the top of their lungs. Everyone loves Hangman and all this type of stuff and screams about how, you do all these things and make people bleed and all the things you did to Hangman. And they cheer for you and all that kind of stuff. And the crowd's just yeah, literally all these horrible things. And I'm listening to MJF say all these things too. And I'm just I agree with the asshole. I agree with Max. Why the hell does Hangman get to be the main character when he's a psychopathic cowboy? I 1,000% agree with
we go back to my original thought. Until CD, Hangman had done nothing wrong. He had just gotten revenge.
I disagree.
Once he went after my boy CD, he was officially
sure, all bets are off.
You don't go after CD. He is the godfather of AEW, sir.
There you go. So he screams about all these things, and he said, "Do you love?" But I got a question though. After everything that you've done, all those horrible things, do you love you? Did you love yourself after you ended the career of your mentor? You demolished that jobber hack Christopher Daniels, to which Hangman flips out and screams, he's 10 times the man you'll ever be. He went out fighting for his life, died a warrior's death, and I know CD would have never had it any other way. And I was just he didn't die, first of all. I was I know he can't wrestle anymore, but the way Hangman was talking, I was just brother, he's alive. He's backstage. You can go say hi to him if you want. He's not dead. But he screams he was the best of us and treated men. He's the reason why men and women like us get to stand in this ring. Don't you ever forget it.
pro sports rules. Once you retire, you're dead.
I know. I'm aware. I was just like, Jesus, man, you can just go say hi to him backstage and cater it.
You might be reincarnated as an announcer or a coach, but you died when you retired.
There you go. But he basically says that the selfless and humility that CD has is something you don't understand. You don't have the stomach for it. And he goes, let me ask you this. If your career ended tonight and if you don't wipe that shit-eating grin off your face, it will. He's like, what would they say about you? Would they say you're a credit to our sport, or would they just call you an opportunist, a selfish coward? And you ask why, after everything I've done, why do these people still seem to care about me? He's like, I'm not going to try to understand it, but I know what's right and I know what's wrong, and I tell the truth. I've never lied to the fans. If I have had a problem, I have faced it head on, eye to eye. I didn't run from it. I didn't hide. I worked for everything. But you spent 5 years cheating and scheming, and anyone who stood in your way, you would tell them that you're better than them. And I hope there's a part of you that still wonders if it's true, because it's not. And to which MJF responds like, wait, are you a child? I'm like, I'm sorry. Did I not win fair and square to the top? Because it doesn't matter how I got the job done. I earned everything. But I can't say the same for you, because you were the golden boy, the chosen one. You came in walking to this company with all the buzz, and you know what I came in with? A scarf and a microphone. And I talk, look, wrestle better than you. You name one thing you can do better than me, name it, to which Hangman responds, I am real. MJF immediately goes, you know what? You be the main character all you want. I got no problem being the bad guy. They start backing off, and they immediately look like they're going to swing on each other. Security's holding themselves up and looking like they're going to separate them. MJF slowly walks back, spits at Hangman, didn't touch him, but he spit at Hangman. He retreats. Security holds back Hangman. He starts beating up all the security guards, and that's when CD gets into the ring. He almost swings on CD, but holds back, and then MJF was just, and CD just goes, this is what I wanted out of you. Don't listen to him. I know who you are. You know who you are. And set up, hell of an opening, man. Hell of an opening right there, because
I am one of the biggest people against starting off with a promo. But when you start off with this promo battles, setting up something with two of your biggest stars in the company, and they're both this good on the mic, it works. This is the exception to the rule. I still rather you start off with big meaty men slapping meat, but this was a very good exception to this rule. And this was an excellent segment. This was an excellent segment that you didn't have to say. Like, you know a segment's great. You didn't have to say the match was going to happen at Revolution. By the end of this segment, you knew the match was happening at Revolution, and there wasn't shit anyone else could say to you, because this match had to happen at Revolution. Them announcing it later, whatever. But this had to happen. This goes. It sticks to the core of MJF's insecurity that the fans don't love him as much as everybody else. This is gay. I'm telling you, my wrestling erection, super, man, it is through the roof. I am like a diamond in an ice storm right now. Just dude, they could stop adding matches to the show. You're getting Mox versus Cope. Whether you like the storyline or not, that's going to be a match. That's going to be a good match. You put them in the main event, they're going to go out and do what they do, right? You're getting, assuming you're getting Kenny versus Takeshita. You're getting Will Ospreay and Fletcher in a cage match. And now you're getting MJF and Hangman. If you talk about two definitive people that represent the original idea of what AEW is, these are the two people. You don't need anything else. But we know we're going to get more. We even got more announced during this show.
We did.
Dude. Hey, I don't know if Jared keeps up with the product. I'm going to message him.
A little bit. I just shared him because obviously he's a big fan of Hook.
Yeah.
Hook is one of his guys. And he's like, I sent him the fact that they showed him the Ops for the first time, to which he responded with, the Ops are their name? Valid.
Yes. So I was just like, dude, if you can live in fiscal responsibility, because again, everything is expensive right now in this world, you should absolutely, any way possible, you should be in LA.
Oh yeah. I told Floyd, I told Jared, I was like, he's going to try to get you to go to the show. I'm just letting you know when I gave him your number, I'm like, he's going to definitely try to get you to the show. And he just goes, how, dude? Like, the show's like in a couple weeks, right? How the hell? And like, tickets are going to be out, right? I was just like, brother, you don't know Floyd. This man's a fucking wizard.
Oh, no. Yeah, I planned on hitting him up when you sent me the message, but I don't know what happened. No excuse.
He was just like, they still have tickets? And I was just like, yeah. He was not hyped about Moxley going after, being the world champion and defending against Copeland.
Me and JR have jokingly talked about just staying until that match is about to start and leaving. We're not. We would never disrespect the wrestlers and leave early.
Absolutely not. No.
But it was like, we're not into the Death Riders thing.
No.
I love Cope. I love Mox. I don't like Cope versus Mox. It doesn't draw me. But everything else on the show is amazing.
Absolutely. But I will tell you right now, he's expecting you to ask about that. So
yes,
go ahead and do that, because I think I could do some convincing. I bet.
I got the rental car. Me and JR is hitting up Roscoe's. We're gonna have a good time. No, so yeah, definitely gonna hit him up, see if he wants to roll with us.
Sure, for sure. Moving on afterwards, there was a quick backstage segment with the Undisputed Kingdom where they were talking about Orange Cassidy, obviously, where they were going to go up against him in the chance to go after the International Championship with Roderick Strong's match in the main event. And then we move into the trios match between the Ops, Samoa Joe, Katsuyori Shibata, and Hook, going up against the Patriarchy, Christian Cage, my boy Nick Wayne shouts out, and Kip Sabian. It was good. It was a good match. Nice little use of the Ops, who I think are already over as a faction, as a group, as a trio. They are solid. Personally, I like the music that the Ops get, but I feel like using either Joe's theme or Hook's theme should be the way to go, personally, just because I think it's more intimidating. So I would rather hear Action Bronson or hear Samoa Joe's theme, personally. That's just me. Shibata's theme, too, is slaps, too. All three of them have good themes. That's the problem. So I hold them up to a high standard. And,
if you're going to have a theme for the Ops, right? It's very much hip-hop theme. Mikey Ruckus, Rich allowed to get on it.
For real.
Get on it. I need y'all to...
Yeah.
Honestly, Rich is fucking musical genius. He probably has something already.
Literally, in my head, I immediately think just like underground New York boom bap, just like fucking like that shit. That's I hear immediately.
Mikey,
so they can make it happen. Make the link up, dude.
Get on it. Let Monteezy throw some bars on there. Let's get this done.
Let's go.
Because I think this is a great mid-card face faction.
Yeah.
And they could be around for a while.
I wouldn't even be surprised at some point that if the Ops get enough steam under their belt, they could be a faction that could like challenge and possibly even dethrone the Death Riders.
They could. And okay, so as soon as it doesn't need to be any bigger. If it's just these three forever, it's fine. But immediately I was like, Eddie Kingston.
Oh, sure.
That was the first. Eddie Kingston was like, oh God, he's an op. He is an op. He is like the definition of op. Just anybody, somebody just want to fight anybody. Anybody can get it. I'm not saying he's going to be in the group or anything like that, but I'm just saying, if you were thinking about adding members, that was the first name that popped in my head. Second name is in the match. I think the next match. His name's Will Hobbs. Him and Hook have a history. I know he's doing his own thing right now, and I'm loving it. Don't touch it. Don't change a thing right now. Powerhouse Hobbs is where he's supposed to be. But if you get to the point where you don't know what to do with him, Will Hobbs looks like an op. Okay? He looks like somebody that'll just fight anybody. So that's how I take this group. These are three guys, anybody can get it. They're not really heel or face. They're getting cheered right now. But if a face person gets on the wrong side of them, they'll beat them up too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of dig about the group, because it's like, it's a group that doesn't need to win a lot, but they should definitely win more than they lose.
Oh, sure. Well, they're the ops, the opposition to whoever steps to them. That's the whole purpose, dude.
And I just like Will Hobbs has op, like, he might as well be tattooed around his chest. You know, like,
pretty much.
Yeah, so it was like I said, I like what they're doing with them. So I'm not saying pivot or anything with Hobbs. I'm just saying if you get to that point that it happens with a lot of wrestlers where you kind of just run out of stuff for them to do, you can hang out with them.
Sure.
Yeah. He didn't have to be a full-fledged member.
Just go for it, man.
Yeah.
Just go for it. So that was solid. Afterwards, we had a backstage interview with Jericho, the Ring of Honor World Champion, and Jericho talked basically about how Bandito, he did get a win over him at at Australia in the what's it called again for a Ring of Honor thing?
What kind of match was that? It was a 6-man match.
But he did pin him there.
Yeah. Just to let you know. So, a little known rule that is really more used in New Japan that AEW adapts to a point at times. If you're in a tag match, whether 6-man or tag, and you pin the champion, effectively you become number one contender for that title.
Pretty much, man.
And so if anybody's ever wondering why Kenny Omega doesn't have to compete in this challenge, that is why.
Yeah, there you go.
He beat the champion in a match, so he's technically the number one contender for the international title. Should they have said that? Absolutely. But, whatever.
Yeah, pretty much. So he goes and says he is giving him a chance at this title on Collision because he's like, people are getting a little too comfortable around Chris Jericho. We then move into the street fight between Powerhouse Hobbs and Big Bill, big meaty men, slapping meat, and it was entertaining. This was just pure using weapons, using big shots. Hobbs still looks like a fucking vicious bastard. And it leads me to think, man, at some point, you should 1,000%, I think, have if Bandito doesn't take down Jericho, Hobbs should take down Jericho. Because imagine Hobbs being Ring of Honor World Champion. Personally, I just feel like that seems like something that could be really, really good as a nice little thing to kind of just set him up.
Yeah.
But I loved how his backpack was full of bricks that he was using to get some revenge on Big Bill. He sent him through a table full of barbed wire. He couldn't free himself, and he couldn't beat a 10 count, so that led to the finish. I thought it was really cool. I loved him trying to fight through the barbed wire to get out of it. Just a really fun, entertaining, garbage street fight, gimmick match. I thought it was really well.
Dude, this match was amazing. It was everything that's great about Will Hobbs, everything that's great about Big Bill. Dude, the only thing that could have been made if it was for a title, I love what they're doing with Hobbs right now. I love how much he's featured. I love how much is Big Bill. These are two men that, Hobbs was hurt, so, he's come back. But Big Bill, it just seems like he was in the learning tree, and it's just like, well, the learning tree should be working towards featuring either Big Bill or Brian Keith, and I didn't feel like it was, and now it feels like it does. And I think there's a lot to go with here going further for them, because if anything, if you have no designs on putting a title on either one of them, you're at least building them up to be contenders and a threat for other titles to get good matches out of them. So I think this, what they've done is brilliant. I thought this was a great performance about Will Hobbs. I'm going to give my critique, and I say it, and they might be saving it. Big Bill, Will Hobbs, every time, very smart people, very intelligent people. They get the wrestling thing, but good Lord, can you give us the middle of the ring meat segment? where you're just forearming and punching each other and the crowd is yelling meat. And it needs to last about 2 minutes.
Yeah, it lasted a little bit on the outside of the ring, but it wasn't enough.
No, it needs to be in the middle of the ring, neither one blocking, boom, boom. And then just one guy wins. It doesn't matter who it is. Just one guy wins in the end, and then you continue from there. Because I don't even know if he wants it to be his thing, but meat is Will Hobbs' thing, and he's not taking advantage of his thing. It's like, understand, a word can make you world champion. Ask Jey Uso. So if you got the word, have them fucking chanting the word. And at the beginning of his theme song, he like got the powerhouse. Throw meat somewhere in there, okay? And just like, don't make it like a cartoon character, but you are a big meaty man. You are the definition of what it is. So play into it a little bit and just let fans get behind you.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. That's
you can ride again. Yes, yeet. You can ride a word. You can ride a word to a world title. Do it.
Oh yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Moving on, there was a quick little interview backstage with the Murder Machines where they're going to be on Collision looking for the Hurt Syndicate because they wanted to say something to them face to face. We then had the appearance of the new AEW Women's World Champion, Timeless Toni Storm. Her promo with a giant-ass spotlight in the center of the ring. Amazing setup. So fucking good. So amazing. She talks about how Timeless Toni Storm is the whore you all adore. This tramp is your new champ. Like all these different things. And she goes basically, on the other side of the world in front of friends, family, and former lovers, I faced the woman from hell, a woman who broke my heart and took my title, ruined my soul, and called Mariah a sick bitch because she gave her the fight of her life and she beat her with her small package. She says the best things come in small packages, but you should have worn protection because I railed you with the biggest package.
And Taz threw out something like, he was like fair. That's what it was like. It was such a deadpan statement. Like,
oh, he's like fair.
Yeah, like I know what you're doing there, and it's hilarious.
Yep, pretty much. Oh, it was so fucking funny. So she says that, and then proceeds to say, as regarding this championship, if I'm going to be the best, I need to face the best. And she calls to the women of wrestling because if you're Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale, or Wendy fucking Richter, she's not hard to find because God is a woman, and her name is Timeless. And mwah, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Spotlight goes out to once she finishes her promo. Just stellar stuff. Absolutely stellar stuff.
Yes. So, yeah. I thought this was brilliantly done. I would have liked someone to come out, but...
Yeah, Zinni was expecting someone to come out, I remember. She was kind of surprised about that.
Britt Baker. Oh, I'm kind of coughing. Here. I'm coughing.
I know.
I'm just saying, user.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep. But we move on to quick little hype package because they announced that Gabe Kidd is going to be on Collision this Saturday night. So that was a big announcement that he was going to be making an appearance, especially since all he does on Twitter is shit on AEW. So.
And someone posted who he wrestled. So during the Collision preview, I'm going to say who he wrestled. So once I get to Collision preview, if you want to skip that, that's fine.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And then we had Renee Paquette interviewing Willow Nightingale. She gets jumped again by Marina Shafir with the steel briefcase. Fucking book the match at this point, man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And once again, Moxley comes down to the ring and screams about how he's the champion of the world. And he goes, this is my microphone. This is my building. You're sitting in my damn seats. And many people pointed out, you may have broken up the Shield, but you never can separate the Shield. They are linked forever because, I mean, that was a callback to Roman Reigns from his build-up to his match with Brock Lesnar. Straight up. Like, people posted the videos about that. It's a cool little touch. Again, forever linked is the Shield.
Yeah,
no matter fucking
I'm
what.
starting to call this group the Death Line.
Literally. Fucking literally. But yeah, and then Jay White comes out, even though because he's like, I don't care if they're the rated R superstar. He called about how Copeland's probably still face down in the dirt. He's like, I will finish the job if he shows up at Revolution. Jay White comes out. They surround him. Cope's music plays. He pops up behind Moxley, beats him down. Jay White fights and hits Pac with a Blade Runner. He grabs Spike and then proceeds to chase out Moxley. And then Copeland gets into the crowd going, this isn't your arena. These aren't your seats. These aren't your people. They're my people. And Mox, I know you're probably halfway back to your hotel. I know you're going to see this. You're a coward and you got no guts. You got no nuts. You got no spine. You need your goon squad. As of now, I'm going to take them out one by one. So when we get to Revolution, it's man versus man, and I'm going to kick your ass.
Absolutely. I was hyped. Like I said, again, I'm hyped because I thought they did a really good job of getting the fans behind them. Mm-hmm. So it feels like the momentum is building towards that match. It does feel like a little bit like the WWE when they were building someone to face Roman, and they do a good job of the build that you trick yourself in thinking they can win, and then you get really pissed off when they lose.
A little bit.
Yeah. Cope and Jay White again. Where's FTR? Cope and Jay White to fend off the group with a stick with nails in it, and and they do their thing, and it's just like. And it's just so funny. So there was this thing at the beginning of this angle that all the locker room hated Death Riders, right? Mm-hmm. You get in the ring, and it's just Cope and Switch. And it's like, I put my hands up like, okay, where's everybody at? Gun Club, hey, you're free? What's going on? But
yeah, what's up?
Again, they wrote it where it's the 2 beat the 4, and I'm just like... It's like for me when I'm like attention to detail, whatever. But when I watch certain things and it's like you see them attacking and one guy waiting because they're clearly outnumbered. So one guy has to wait for him to fight for this guy and then fight for this guy. And it just reminds me of those old karate movies where there'd be 1 versus 12 and then they fight them one at a time. And it's just like, why didn't the 12 of you just jump on them? Like, that's what it felt like in that moment.
No, for sure. Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, so moving into next, little backstage segment with Mercedes Moné where she set up her match for Momo. And then we moved into Chris Statlander versus Megan Bayne.
She told Momo to show up to Dynamite, so I'm ready for Momo on Dynamite.
Yes, Momo on Dynamite, yes.
She's like, free trip to America, what up?
And yeah, I thought Chris and Megan had a good match. I was talking to Floyd a little bit before the show ended and during the show. I've yet to see. I don't know. I've yet to be sold on the hype for Megan Bayne. Personally, I think she's got a great look. Obviously, she looks like a badass, and she carries herself with a lot of swagger. And this was a huge victory for her. She beat established Chris Statlander, who not long ago was challenging Mercedes Moné for the TBS Championship.
She had a little help.
Obviously, with the help of Penelope Ford. So it wasn't clean, but I mean, yeah, it was. She still beat Chris Statlander. And considering how she's still very, very, very new, it's a big win for her. I don't know. I think she looks great. She's got the image part sorted out. Wrestling-wise, she's good too. Character-wise, I need to know and see more because, quite frankly, I mean, like, I know Camille was in this company like a few months ago and then she left. And to me, this is just another Camille, at least with the way that she's being portrayed. I know she's not another Camille. She can be more than that. But I mean, at this point, that's what she is. Like, I was just like, oh, Camille's gone. Here's her replacement. So I need to see more character-wise from her. I know it's early, but I'm not emotionally attached to Megan at this point in time. even though she did solid work here with the deadlift German. And yeah, I also too just really want Chris Statlander, man. When she was in the championship picture, I was just like, man, Chris is finally gonna like get a chance to really push into that upper echelon. And she is still one of the top women, but I want her to be doing really big stuff.
Yeah, and it's like it really is kind of like I thought Chris and Willow are like the heart of the women's division in AEW. And don't get me, I think they're like the heart of the women's division in AEW, and they have literally kind of been pushed to the side to focus on other people. And it's
I know,
because
Willow's gotten all she's been doing is getting jumped by
correct. Yes.
By fucking Marina Shafir, and then Chris Statlander takes a loss by screw finish to a newcomer.
And they like, I was like, they can't get consistent with Chris. That's the problem. Willow, I feel like you can heat up Willow anytime, but Chris is just like, is she a face? Is she good? Is she a heel? Is she one of the best wrestlers on the planet? Because if she is, push her that way. There's so many questions I have with Chris Statlander because the talent, the look, the music, everything is there. It's just like, just get behind her and give her the shove and let her see what she can do. You know?
I mean,
and not even let her see what she can do. What can she do on top? It just feels like they don't know how they want to present her right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that is that's basically it. And then unfortunately, there was a moment after this match.
Yes. And I didn't need to go on record. I love the Megasis. I think she's awesome. I mean, they do have character work to work on her, but she hasn't really said anything. So we're gonna find out who her character is sooner rather than later. So yes, but yes, after this, I literally Jason, my boy Jason, hit me up and he was like, "What the fuck was going on there?" And this is me paraphrasing after the end of the match. Because, good Lord, please explain what we saw. I can't explain.
Okay, so my girl, Thunder Rosa, runs to the ring after Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford are beating up on Chris Statlander. She runs out to the ring, and she's got a steel chair in her hands. And she keeps that steel chair in her hands. And Megan and Penelope are side by side next to each other, and Thunder is waving the steel chair but not using the steel chair, and both Bayne and Ford are not showing any urgency to get away from the crazy woman with the face paint with the steel chair, and there's a point where it seems like she tried to take the steel chair away, and it's just like weird fucking moments of them just in the ring and no one knows what the fuck's going on, and eventually they just walk away. Like they walk away from Thunder with the chair and just live to fight another day. It was so fucking awkward.
And that's the only word that I can use. And I will be first to we will be the first to admit we've never wrestled. I don't know how things go, but from my novice eyes, it looks like Thunder Rosa comes with the chair, Penelope Ford and Megan Bayne leave the ring. That's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily... And again, if you've ever watched The Hurt Business or The Death Riders, you don't have to scurry. You just slowly walk out of the ring while keeping your eyes on Thunder Rosa the whole time. I felt like they put Thunder Rosa in a terrible position.
Yeah, it made her look so bad.
Yes, and like I said, again, if you don't watch wrestling, you would truly think that Thunder Rosa was stupid. But no, I come out with the chair. This is wrestling for however many years I've been watching it. Good guy comes out with the chair. The bad guys leave. What the fuck were they trying to go to grab the chair for? And whatever.
No, correct. It's like, I mean, Penelope got in the middle of Bayne and they were just talking and stuff like that. But I mean, like, she's literally got a chair and she's just not using it. And there's just like It didn't make any sense. Thunder Rosa is amazing. I love her. I think there's a lot of people in AEW that have been shitting on her for no reason, really. I think she's one of the best women in the company, and this did not help her. Like, I thought it was just a level of just miscommunication that made everybody look bad. It made Penelope, who they've been trying to really push in a lot of recent stuff, bad. Obviously, Megan is undefeated, and they've really been building her up as this new up-and-coming face. And then for Thunder Rosa, who is a absolute badass and someone who has been in AEW for a very long time and has gone up against some of the top women in the company, didn't help her either. So, like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It was very, very awkward. That's all I can say.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I just think it's hey, you go in the back, you say, hey, this is what was supposed to happen, blah, 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 and you fix it. I don't think it's this, oh my God, like a terrible moment where someone needs to happen, but it's just, like I said, it looked terrible on TV, and in there hot. Right now, AEW TV is hot. So don't fuck it up. You know what I mean? With stuff like this. Don't fuck it up with stuff like this.
Yeah. We then had Ricochet coming out to the ring. He still got the robe stolen from the embassy, and he talked to the crowd and to the people at home, because he was not listening to the crowd about the boos. So, like, what you got to understand about this is that it doesn't matter. Them booing me doesn't matter, because when you boo a winner, you're booing into a void of nothingness, and Ricochet is a winner. I proved it when I pinned Swerve Strickland 2 weeks ago, but I've been proving it since I stepped into AEW, because I whooped Swerve's ass, Will's ass, Darby's ass, Commander's ass. Winners always have something to show for, and I have something to show for all of my success, and I don't want to just wear this robe. This is not enough. I'm taking titles. And he said in 2025 he wants to be a champion in AEW, and that he will be a champion in AEW. Nana then comes out to Swerve's music, to which he goes, one-on-one, I want to talk. I told Swerve to stay home. We've been beefing up and down the road for the last couple months. I don't know where that's going, but what I need you to do, you're wearing something that doesn't belong to you. I've been in this business for 3 decades making history. That robe has a lot to do with it, my friend. That robe represents pride, integrity, and those who I've walked through, and those that we've lost. Anyone that's wearing that robe has honor. And Ricochet, if you're that winner you say you are, just give the robe back. And Ricochet is just like, go ahead, take it. Take it from me. Go ahead. And he's like, are you going to cry, Nana? It's okay. You're not getting it back. And he laughs in his face, does his Jadakiss laugh, and then he walks out. And basically what that was Nana giving him one last out. Because now you've signed a death wish, is what you've done. Ricochet did not want to get out. He did not want to actively get out of this war that was about to be sent to his house. Because now you've made an enemy of Swerve Strickland, and he is not the person to make enemies with.
Yeah. I thought this was probably Ricochet's best promo speaking.
I'd agree.
Ever. Any company, anything I've ever seen. I think he's leveled up. And people tell people, like, he wasn't used to talking. He didn't talk a lot in WWE. And then he got to AEW, and they throw a mic in his hand, and he talked, and sometimes it didn't come off great. He has found his character. He has found who he is. He has found all the things that you need to find. And yeah, that's pretty much as simple as I can put it. This dude has found out who he is, and he knows how to communicate it. And I thought this was excellent.
Yeah, pretty much. Also, shout out to the Kevin Durant line. That was good.
Oh, yeah. He wants to get the hell out of there. But Kevin Durant wants to get the hell out of whatever city he's in, okay?
Kevin Durant, dude, I'm done with this shit, personally. That dude needs to shut the fuck up and play basketball.
Hey, shut up and dribble. I love it. I love it.
It's not about politics, though. It's that you just seem to be, like, pointing the finger at everybody but you.
Correct.
That's my problem with KD. It's my problem with a lot of NBA talent right now. There's a lot of just like, They're making too much money anyway. So, moving on, main event time. Freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy versus Roderick Strong of the Undisputed Kingdom. Winner gets a shot at Konosuke Takeshita's International Championship. I gotta say, first of all, in this match, it literally seemed like I know you're not gonna understand this because you don't play any other video game other than Madden, Floyd, and NCAA. But
yeah, baby.
Basically, what Roderick Strong was doing was he was using King's moveset from Tekken, where he just grapple move upon grapple transition into grapple, transitions into grapple, transitions into grapple. Like he did 4 moves in a row where he murdered Orange Cassidy's back. Like it looked vicious, absolutely vicious.
So I'm glad you brought that up because this is the only time. So I'm so old. I played the original Tekken in the arcade.
There you go.
So only person's still to this day, the only person's moves I knew was King's. Because I'm a wrestling fan, so I always play with the wrestler. And I knew his 10-move combo. And if you started it and you hit it, it was over every time. So you just warmed my soul talking about King. And who I then found out later was based on Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Like the
animation and the moveset. Yeah, no, 1,000%.
So no, you just really you popped.
That's
right there.
But that's literally what he was doing. I felt like in this match, and it was really well done. I thought Orange Cassidy obviously being set up as this big challenger because of him being one of the best international champions in the title's history, trying to go back after the belt that he carries around in his backpack. Roderick again, like I said, wrestled his ass off. Orange Cassidy. Doing his thing. It's been a minute, and having him back, it feels big, and he's back to his old blue jean jacket compared to the black one, which, I mean, it's just classic shit. And, it was a good match. Counters into the Stun Dog Millionaire, then hits the Orange Punch. He pins Roderick Strong, and that's when Cassidy was about to be interviewed about his chance at the international title. Don Callis comes out, starts talking shit, and that's when he has Mark Davis jump Orange Cassidy. Takeshita comes in, and they beat him down. That's when Kenny Omega runs out to even up the odds, and they are fighting all this type of stuff, and they chase them all out. That's when Kenny picks up the international championship that was left behind by Takeshita and holds it up, and that's when he turns around and sees, oh, wait, you're the guy who just won the match to get a shot at this thing that I'm now holding, and you are very cross that I am doing that. So nice little tease for both of those right there. Obviously, Kenny wanting to get Takeshita at Revolution, and then Orange Cassidy basically going to face the winner of that match for the international title. So it's a nice little way to close out Dynamite. Solid show.
I did want to say this. If they pull a red herring, which again, they're ever in the rights to do, and have Takeshita fucking lose next week, and it's Orange Cassidy versus Kenny Omega, I will complain loudly on the internet. Okay,
correct. Yes,
I'm like,
not the match that I want personally.
I love OC, but you already you kind of promised me Kenny and Takeshita.
Don't take it from him, dude.
Don't take it from me. You already promised me that. So,
yeah.
I mean, I bought my plane ticket for Kenny versus Takeshita. You know, so yeah. Don't do it, please. Hey, TK. I make the joke that someone listens to the show in your company. So, if anyone's listening, please don't do that to me. You
do not.
You would break one of your biggest fans' heart because it's supposed to be Omega versus Takeshita.
Yeah, no, 1,000%. That, though, was Dynamite. Like I said, really good show, really solid stuff. Nice little follow-up to Grand Slam, too. And it's shaping up for a really exciting Revolution show coming up in March. So we're looking forward to that, man.
Dude,
we're looking forward.
What is it? 3 weeks? 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think it's because it's March 9th, right, or March 8th?
Yeah, March 9th. So I'm like literally.
3 weeks. Yeah,
I'm flying.
A little less than 3 weeks.
Flying into LA that day, flying out. I'm literally only in the city of LA, which I pretty much said I was never going to again because you fucking stacked this card out of its mind. Dude, if you throw FTR on this card, I might pass out.
It's done, dude. It's done.
I might pass out. I might just because you think about it. So this is Revolution. Okay. So they're going to do the Face of the Revolution thing, right?
You know it, yeah.
So we got that match coming. Mercedes versus Momo, right? They're going to do something with the tag team titles. It's like, dude, this is going to be top to bottom. Like Revolution won show of the year last year. I'm not seeing how it's going to get beat this year, just what it has on paper already.
I mean, yeah. I can't tell you, man. I couldn't tell you what else.
And the show's in LA. So I feel like there's two guys that are from that area. Rancho Cucamonga, I think that's where they're from.
Okay, well, you see, you had me and then you lost me.
That kind of need to be on this show.
They really don't. They really don't. I know what you're saying, but they really don't.
I'm just like, dude, this is like, I mean, they're the Lakers, man. They got to be on the show.
They really don't. But, you can say what you want. You can say what you want.
I know. But they got to be on the show, man. They got to be.
Sure. Whatever you say.
I mean, they won the match of the year. Like, I think it was number 2 in the match of the year in February. That's how good they are. They were like, done. There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
I know how you feel.
Okay.
But you don't deny their in-ring ability.
I never did.
There you go. That's
I
all.
don't want to see them.
I want to see them. Oh, because I just saw them at the New Beginning. I just saw them at New Beginning, and they drug old ass Naito to a great match. I'm like, dude, put them in there with all the olds. They'll figure it out.
All right. Well, moving on, that's going to be it for Dynamite and our review there. Now, Collision was taped, so we have an idea of the matches that were on tonight. So, Floyd, you want to go through that?
Oh, yes. On Collision, the Jericho versus Bandito for the ROH World title was announced during the show. Into the show, Death Riders versus Garcia, Matt Menard, and Cool Hand Ange. Then we later on Twitter, Tony Khan announced Queen Aminata versus Julia Hart and Beast Mortos versus Hologram. And it was announced that Hologram and Commander are going to be tagging up as CMLL show. So their name has to be Holomander. So I need everyone to help me get that over. Hashtag Holomander online. That has to be their name, Holomander.
There you go.
Beast Mortos versus Hologram signed me the fuck up. I think I saw that in Texas. I think that was one of the matches I saw at the what is it called, Residency in Texas. And Queen Aminata versus Julia Hart. I am waiting for Aminata to start winning, but again, the women's division is in this weird flux where you don't know where everything is. So I'm just gonna let them work it out. And then Gabe effing Kidd, the New Japan Global Champion, a dude I can honestly say over the last month I have become a fan of. It's been like a month and 16 days. I have become a fan of. I had seen him wrestle before. Thought he was just a guy. Saw him wrestle against Kenny Omega. Oh, it's amazing. So I was like, well, but he's wrestling against Kenny Omega. People tend to have their best matches ever against Kenny Omega. Then I saw him at New Beginning against Shota. Okay, I get my people confused in New Japan. But he was against... No, he's the New Japan Strong Champion. He wrestled against the Global Champion at Wrestle Kingdom. I got it correct. Jeremy, Josh, if y'all listen to this, don't get mad at me. I am, I'm catching up on my New Japan right now. So, yeah. So, he just had another match at New Beginning, and it was fucking awesome. So, I am out there telling you, watch out for Gabe Kidd in this week. And I'm going to give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He wrestled The Butcher. He wrestled the Butcher on the show. It wasn't this big mystery, but some people just want to be surprised. I gave you 5 seconds. You could have just skipped 10 seconds ahead, whatever. So that is, Collision looks pretty, looks like a pretty good Collision. Last week, Collision had over 500,000 viewers, one of their highest rated shows. Because of the NBA lead-in, they had 1 million people leading into the show. So it was, the Grand Slam was basically everything they wanted it to be. And then we got this Collision this week that looks like another good wrestling show. And the Murder Machines are going to call out the Hurt Business. And this show was recorded tonight in Phoenix. So, yeah. So if you don't want to know what happened, go to your Twitter, whatever, mute Collision, mute all that stuff until Saturday. I know, just because I don't plan on changing my habits, I'm going to know what happens before Saturday.
Right.
I'm still going to watch it. It doesn't change whether I watch it or not.
No, for sure. There you go. That's going to do it, though, I think, for our episode of AEW. I think that's pretty much everything that we got.
Yeah, I don't think... I don't think we got any additional news other than I was watching NXT this week, and they introduced this new up-and-comer guy named Ricky Saints.
Yeah, that was the thing.
He was pretty good on the mic. I mean, I wonder if he can go. So Ricky Saints, that's his name now.
Mm-hmm.
Ricky Starks is dead. So Ricky Saints, shout out to him.
I'm just saying, man, you can run from it, dread it, hide from it. AEW Rampage reigns supreme as Ethan Page interrupted him during that contract signing.
Yes, that made me hilarious to me. When he did it, I was like, right? It was just so funny to me that he had to change his name. And then someone brought up, they was like, well, in WWE, they don't really like people to have the same last names and stuff. And I was like, what is
unless you're like the biggest star in the company, really.
Yeah, and I was like, so what are you talking about? And he was like, oh, Zoe Starks exists. And I was like, oh, fuck, she does. And I was like, oh, okay, it makes sense they changed his name.
There you go.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, whatever. I wish him the best in NXT.
And I hope soon we get to see Saints team with the Second City Saints. So
my heartbreaking period. I never want to see that other guy that you referred to again, but whatever.
On that note, I think that's going to close things out on this episode of All Things Elite, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. Share us around with your friends, family, coworkers, who you wish. Download this show on YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Turn automatic downloads on. Rate, review, subscribe. We really appreciate the support. Follow us on Twitter at AT Elite Pod, at Social Suplex. Make this show possible. Check out all the other great shows they have on their network. I am at Austin Sumowitz, SZUMOWICZ. Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter, and I will pass it off to him so he can take us home on this episode of All Things Elite.
Dude, we're hitting a year. AEW's hitting their stride. I'm just going to remind everybody listening to the show, if you have HBO Max, that is the way you should be watching the show. Because I truly think the TV numbers and all that stuff is going to dictate, what their rating is, how much money they get, all that kind of stuff that really doesn't matter to us. But I'm saying if you think about how you want to watch it to help the company, make sure you're watching it on HBO Max. I literally, that's how I watch it every week. And to anyone listening to this show, you made it all this way far, you got to get picture-in-picture on HBO Max. How are you going to expect people to go to HBO Max and watch the show if it's a lesser experience than me watching it on YouTube TV? Because when I watch on YouTube TV, I get the picture-in-picture. When I watch it on Max, I don't. So you're literally saying, hey, you have this product, but it's a lesser product. It doesn't make sense. So fix it so everybody can switch over to HBO Max. With that, I wanted to say all you love everybody. It's February. There's a lot of political stuff going around that I don't really have a lot to do with it, but it seems to be getting everybody upset and all that stuff. Make sure you remember that it's not about what side you're on, right or left. It's about taking care of the people and loving the people around you. That is what matters. If you take care of the people and love the people around you, this world will be a better and a more amazing place. With that, I will leave you how I always leave you, whether it's home, work, or school. Always do your best to be elite.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years and #2 among public universities for employability. ASU isn't just ahead of the curve, it's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to leave up holiday decorations year-round. Others have the need to use their garage as practice space for their new metal band. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.